Okay, hi everyone. I hope you're all having a good day. As you can see, I am sharing my screen with you and I am on the Scribd website. So the reason I wanted to make this video is because last month I have to upload a very important document from Scribd. So I availed of their 7-day, I think, free trial. So I placed in my card information to avail of the trial, and then I forgot to remove it, and after a month I was like confused why there's a charge on my card of something that I didn't know. So I searched, I went through it, and I found out that it's from Scribd. So unknowingly, I paid for a month in Scribd, and in order for this subscription to not go to waste, I decided to share my screen. I searched for an interesting theme that I can pick up today, and this is the one that I selected. This is folklore, or I don't know, mythical folklore for different countries. So as you can see, we have here from the Philippines, Japan, China, Persia, India. So this is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 countries. So I'm going to read one from the Philippines first. I'm going to read this one, Why Dogs Wag Their Tails, because I know most of the people in the Philippines are really dog lovers. So let's see. Let's begin. Why the Dog Wags Its Tail. A rich man in a certain town once owned a dog and a cat, both of which were very useful to him. The dog had served his master for many years and had become so old that he had lost his teeth and was unable to fight any more. But he was a good guide and companion to the cat, who was strong and cunning. As we all know, all cats are cunning, so yeah. The master had a daughter who was attending school at a convent some distance from home, and very often he sent the dog and the cat with presents to the girl. Wow, very cute messengers. Okay, one day he called the faithful animals and bade them carry a magic ring to his daughter. You are strong and brave, he said to the cat. You may carry the ring, but you must be careful not to drop it. And to the dog he said, you must accompany the cat to guide her and keep her from harm. They promised to do their best and started out. All went well until they came to a river. As there was neither bridge nor boat, there was no way to cross but to swim. Let me take the magic ring, said the dog as they were about to plunge into the water. Oh no, replied the cat. The master gave it to me to carry. But you cannot swim well, argued the dog. I am strong and can take good care of it. But the cat refused to give up the ring until finally the dog threatened to kill her, and then she reluctantly gave it to him. What? Aren't dogs supposed to be cute and friendly? Okay, let's continue. The river was wide and the water so swift that they grew very tired, and just before they reached the opposite bank, the dog dropped the ring. They searched carefully, but could not find it anywhere, and after a while they turned back to tell their master of the sad loss. Just before reaching the house, however, the dog was so overcome with fear that he turned and ran away and never was seen again. The cat went on alone, and when the master saw her coming, he called out to know why she had returned so soon and what had become of her companion. The poor cat was frightened, but as well as she could, she explained how the ring had been lost and how the dog had run away. On hearing her story, the master was very angry and commanded that all his people should search for the dog and that it should be punished by having its tail cut off. He also ordered that all the dogs in the world should join in the search, and ever since, when one dog meets another, he says, Are you the old dog that lost the magic ring? If so, your tail must be cut off. Then immediately each shows his teeth and wags his tail to prove that he is not the guilty one. Since then, 2 cats have been afraid of water and will not swim across the river if they can avoid it. Okay, so that's basically the whole story. And yeah, it's actually the dog that's very cruel in this story, not the cat. But I don't know, when a dog wags its tail, they don't just wag their tail when they meet another dog, right? They also wag their tail when their master shows up. So it doesn't really explain the whole point of why the dog is wagging its tail. But yeah, it's interesting nevertheless. Okay, so let's proceed to the next story. This is called Mansumandig. So I don't understand what that means, but I hope we do at the end of this reading. One day, a man said to his wife, "My wife, we are getting very poor, and I must go into business to earn some money." "That is a good idea," replied his wife. "How much capital have you?" "I have 25 centavos," answered the man, "and I am going to buy rice and carry it to the mines, for I have heard that it brings a good price there." So he took his 25 centavos and bought a half cavan of rice, which he carried on his shoulder to the mine. Arriving there, he told the people that he had rice for sale, and they asked eagerly how much he wanted for it. "Why, have you forgotten the regular price of rice?" asked the man. "It is 25 centavos." They at once bought the rice, and the man was very glad because he would not have to carry it any longer. He put the money in his belt and asked if they would like to buy any more. "Yes," said they, "we will buy as many cavans as you will bring." When the man reached home, his wife asked if he had been successful. "Oh, my wife, it is a very good business. I could not take the rice off my shoulder before the people came to buy it." "Well, that is good," said the wife. "We shall become very rich." The next morning the man bought a half cavan of rice, the same as before, and carried it to the mine, and when they asked how much it would be, he said, "It is the same as before, 25 centavos." He received the money and went home. "How is the business today?" asked his wife. "Oh, it is the same as before," he said. "I could not take the rice off my shoulder before they came for it." And so he went on with his business for a year, each day buying a half cavan of rice and selling it for the price he had paid for it. Then one day his wife said that they would balance accounts, and she spread a mat on the floor and sat down on one side of it, telling her husband to sit on the opposite side. When she asked him for the money he had made during the year, he asked, "What money?" "Why, give me the money you have received," answered his wife, "and then we can see how much you have made." "Oh, here it is," said the man, and he took the 25 centavos out of his belt and handed it to her. "Is that all you have received this year?" cried his wife angrily. "Haven't you said that rice brought a good price at the mines?" "That is all," he replied. "How much did you pay for the rice?" 25 centavos. "How much did you receive for it?" 25 centavos. "Oh, my husband," cried his wife, "how can you make any gain if you sell it for just what you paid for it?" The man leaned his head against the wall and thought, ever since then he has been called Mansumandik, a man who leans back and thinks. Okay, so that's it. That's what Mansumandik means. Then the wife said, "Give me the 25 centavos and I will try to make some money." So he handed it to her, and she said, "Now you go to the field where the people are gathering hemp and buy 25 centavos worth for me, and I will weave it into cloth." When Mansumandig returned with the hemp, she spread it in the sun, and as soon as it was dry, she tied it into a long thread and put it on the loom to weave. Night and day she worked on her cloth, and when it was finished she had 8 varas. This she sold for 12.5 centavos a vara, and with this money she bought more hemp. She continued weaving and selling her cloth, and her work was so good that people were glad to buy from her. At the end of the year, she again spread the mat on the floor and took her place on one side of it, while her husband sat on the opposite side. Then she poured the money out of the blanket, in which she kept it upon the mat. She held aside her capital, which was 25 centavos, and when she counted the remainder, she found that she had 300 pesos. Mansumandig was greatly ashamed when he remembered that he had not made 1 cent, and he leaned his head against the wall and thought. After a while the woman pitied him, so she gave him the money and told him to buy carabao. He was able to buy 10 carabao, and with this he plowed his fields. By raising good crops, they were able to live comfortably all the rest of their life. Okay, so this is a very interesting story because, okay, first the man tried to do business. Mansumandig, that's what he's called, because he always leans back and think. He did business, but he never earned any profit because, I don't know, maybe because he just leans back and think, but he never really thinks, right. So then the woman took his place. So as we can see at the end of the story, the woman was very successful. So this really tells a lot about how women are very smart. Not to brag because I'm a woman, but yeah, we're very smart. And I don't know, but I don't want to say anything, comment anything. Okay, so I have read 2 stories today. I will be making another video for Japan and one of the other countries, so we can know something from their country, what their folklore are and what their myths are. Okay, so if there's any term or word that I can understand, we can always Google it. Okay, so thank you so much for reading these 2 stories with me, and I hope we each learned a lesson, and I know that we are going to interpret each story differently for each individual, but I hope that at the end of the day we all learn the same lesson. Thank you and have a great night.